All right, when was the last time you checked your portfolio? Are you one of those that's like me who's just, yeah, I'm just going to I'm going to throw some money at it. I don't want to think about it too much because if I'll get discouraged if it's not more than it was last week. Well, if you have annuities, you might even have an old insurance policy that you haven't looked at in years. Need to rethink that. What about the 401k that you're hoping still exists? Now is the time to review. Now. Chris Shreves can help you do that. He's the president and CEO of Securus Insurance, Financial, and Estate Planning. I said it that way, Chris, because Securus helps secure our future, and you do that because you've never lost a dime of your customers' money in the stock market, right?
That's absolutely correct.
So tell us about 401k rollovers and some of the options you have. Because when you get to be my age, you start thinking about all of a sudden that this stuff is really, oh, I've been doing this for years, but the complexion changes as you look at actually using the money and trying to make it last as long as you can.
Yeah, correct. A lot of companies have changed 401k plans, and internally they can have an old one and a new one, and sometimes the old one can be moved. If you're 59 and a half, you can move a 401k in most cases. That's called I forget the name of it, but anyway, the bottom line is they'll let you move it out to the whole world of investments.
Oh.
But you know, instead of just being caught in that box.
Okay, so you're not just stuck with the stock, the mutual funds that are within that 401k's realm.
Correct.
So you can do other things with it.
You can do other things with it, and if you're getting closer to retirement, that's probably good to start thinking about, because the things that are inside that box of that 401k, you know, may not necessarily be as safe as you want it to be, or may not give you the opportunities that you're looking for with safety. So that's good. Also, talking about old stuff, you know, there are a lot of people out there that have old annuities that they've had for a long time, and they really haven't done anything with it. There might be some things that you might be able to do with that old annuity that might improve it. Life insurance policies, if they're old, mortality rates have changed immensely. So, you know, people can normally go out with an old life insurance policy and get the same insurance for less money.
Wow.
If you're still healthy, or you can get more insurance for the same money. So those are good things to look at. Not to mention the fact that life insurance has changed over the years, so there's a lot more living benefits in the newer policies versus the older policies.
And tell us just briefly about Securus and the way that you've put this company together with a series of experts that really cover all parts of our security, our long-term security.
Yeah, it's in my case, when I went out and I would talk to people when I first got into business, I realized that, you know, these people needed more than just somebody to deal with their insurance. They needed a lawyer to deal with their wills. There's another old situation. You could have an old will or an old trust that hasn't been changed. It may not be worth the paper it's written on. But we created a group of professionals that work together that create plans that are specifically designed for that individual. So keep in mind, all of us don't work for each other, we work with each other. So that's what makes it different.
And Chris has a bunch of good experts. They come on the show and they talk to about all aspects of securing your future, and that's what this company is all about. Thanks, Chris. Have a great holiday. It's the best time of year to review your portfolio because of the coming tax season, among other things. So if you want to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, call them at 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252. The Securus website, also very easy to navigate. Click on securemoneyplan.com. We've also loaded a link to GreatDaySt.Louis.com. So you can find a way to get in there to Securus and get the help from all their experts, right?
That's correct. Thanks Ken.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Welcome back and happy Monday to you. Hard not to note the misery on Wall Street lately. The Dow plunged more than 400 points shortly after the opening bell on Friday. Not helping matters, the price of oil falling to levels that we have not seen in years. This morning, the markets closed, so we're all catching our breath for a moment. Joining us this morning to talk a little bit about the tumultuous markets is Chris Shreves, President and CEO of Securus, along with Securus Vice President of Business Development, Bart Humphrey. Gentlemen, nice to have you here.
Good morning.
Bart, I got to hand it to you. You know, Kent and I are the ones that are supposed to be predicting the future for a living, but a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, you were in the Great Day Studios talking about a scenario that looks a lot like what's come to pass over the last couple of weeks here.
Well, I wish I'd have been wrong.
Yeah, me too.
You know,
no insult intended.
no, that's quite fine. Things have been tumultuous all around the globe, and we're going from one hot spot to another. You turn on the TV, they talk of war. You turn on the TV, you see terrorism. All these things, unfortunately, affect our markets. The world is a very small place. And we believe when you retire, you shouldn't have to worry about those things. You need to walk out the door. It needs to be the last time you walk out the door of your workplace. Let retirement be enjoyment.
And there are people who are invested in certain types of investments who didn't lose a wink of sleep when the markets were up, down, 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 and more down over the last week or so, 2 weeks. Chris, explain to me how that's possible for some people. What are they doing that the rest of us aren't doing?
Well, we didn't lose any sleep either because we didn't get any phone calls from our clients asking us, did I lose any money? So, you know, what we do is we actually look at people's finances and we try to show them, we've said it a million times, how conservative consistency can outperform occasional brilliance. You don't have to be worried every day of retirement whether you're going to be able to get through the end of retirement. And the markets have gone up and down in the last 5 years, but mostly up. And, you know, these things just, you know, can't continue to go in that direction. And so we have proven that. I think we actually brought a chart here today.
Yeah, you call it the real benefits chart. And there's 3 different lines on here, so explain to me what we're seeing.
Well, the 2 most important lines is the red line shows the actual stock market, which is the S&P 500. Shows how volatile the market has been from 1998 all the way up to 2015. The red line over here now has actually dropped considerably. We've actually given back in some areas, almost 5 years of growth.
Let's think about that for a second. In the span of days, if not weeks, we've given back 5 years of earnings in certain sectors of the stock market.
Correct. And so the green line uses a monthly averaging indexed annuity, and it shows how that annuity, when the market goes up, we actually get a portion of that gain, but when the market goes down, we're not losing any money at all. We're not giving back any of the money. So you don't get all of those, you know, great gains when the markets are going up, but the interest that's credited to your account gets locked in, it becomes principal, it never goes away. So you never have to really worry about whether your money is going to be gone at the time that you need it.
So what I see, layman's standpoint here, is when the red line, stock market, plunges, the green line, the indexed annuity that you're talking about, goes flat. It's not necessarily experiencing big growth, but while stocks are crashing, maybe that's too harsh a word, but while stock prices are dropping significantly, you're flat to maybe meager growth.
Right, and what really is crazy here is the blue line on here is the guarantee that this product offers. And if you'll notice how many times the blue line, which is the guarantee, is actually above what the stock market is actually doing.
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, you know, in this particular case, we don't really have to worry about the blue line because the green line is way above it. And so what I can do is just encourage people to know that they can come into our office. We can show them the kind of money that they can actually get in a monthly payment with regards to their retirement plan. And, you know, these products have what they call a lifetime income benefit rider tied to them, which are kind of like a built-in pension. The only thing is the portion that you don't use by the time you pass away goes to your beneficiary, unlike a pension.
Ah, gotcha. I mean, it's worth considering at the very least. Chris and Bart, thank you both so much for being here. We appreciate it. If you'd like to get in touch with the Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252, or check them out on the web, securemoneyplan.com. Earlier in the show, we talked about the huge drop in the market, really started late last week, continued as the markets opened this morning. Joining us now is Chris Shreves. He is the president and CEO of Securus Insurance, Financial, and Estate Planning. Man, do you have some timing. Wow, it's really something to have you on the show today. You want to try to walk us through what happened late last week and then what we saw as the markets opened up this morning?
Well, clearly, Matt, it's no surprise to me what's going on here right now. I mean, we really have been talking about this for the last year or so, that these markets are way overbought. People need to realize, you know, the market will not always continually go up, and, you know, they can blame it on a lot of different things. They really don't know what causes it exactly. But the truth of the matter is, you don't have to take these risks. I've always said time and time again, people can actually put their retirement dollars in something that won't have to lose money. They may not get the miraculous gains that the stock market has been showing for the last 6-7 years, but as I've always said, conservative consistency will outperform occasional brilliance.
Well, and you've shown us the charts before too. I mean, it is pretty impressive, and I think it bears. We've talked about your story before. Probably bears repeating. You experienced some of these losses yourself. That was really a motivator for you to try to help other people avoid some of the pitfalls that you fell victim to at one point. Right?
Yeah, that's correct. We all lose sight of the fact that there's a downside to the stock market, and we think that, when it goes up for such long periods of time, we forget that it can go down. Yeah. And when it happens to you, it really hurts. We had one in 2000, we had one in 2008, and here we are, 2015. And, this one right here is kind of concerning. This may not rebound as quickly as the other ones, and it may continue to fall. But here's what I would like to say today, okay? It's not too late to come in and talk to us, because we do have products that might be able to recapture some or all of those losses that you sustained just by moving the money from where you have it right now into some of the products that we have available. All you really have to do is grab your things. I've actually made special time this week just for this reason, because we knew this was kind of...
You're going to hear from some people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, we're going to work extra hours to try to help the people out that want to learn what we can do.
Got it.
But the bottom line is we want to make sure we're there for the people. If they don't want to be in this position anymore, it's not too late. All they really need to do is call our office, set an appointment, bring in the things that you're concerned about, and we will sit down with you and talk about this, because this is not going to go away.
No, you're right. You're right.
So,
by the way, the last time you were here, I think we opened up the floor for questions from viewers, and we've gotten some good ones. We thought this kind of took precedent today, so we wanted to devote a lot of time to this. But stick around, because as he comes back in future weeks, we'll answer some of those viewer questions. Deal?
Sure.
Okay, sounds good. In the meantime, you're probably going to want to get in touch with him or any Securus advisor for a free consultation. You can call 636-720-1900 or toll free 800-720-4252. The Securus website, also very easy to navigate. Click on securemoneyplan.com. We've got that linked up on greatdaystlouis.com as well. And as I mentioned, you can send us your financial questions, and we will select one, answer it on the air. Securus can answer any of your financial questions that you might have, so don't be afraid to ask. Message your question to us through Great Day's Facebook page. We'll check that frequently. We'll make sure Chris gets them. We'd love to hear from you, guys.
Chris has been getting these text messages all morning long. ... dash.
Yeah. ...
Save our ship.
He's been doing it for a while. He knows.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
My next guest is going to be so excited when he hears we've dumped all of our money into the Dollary Do. Just sit tight for a second.
If not, Weight Watchers.
Exactly. Right now it's time to sit down and look at your health care plans, actually. The annual enrollment period with Medicare is going on right now, and you probably need to take action, because sorting through it can be very cumbersome and confusing. So we called in a couple of experts. Chris Shreves is the president and CEO of Securus Insurance, Financial, and Estate Planning. He's joined, though, by Misty Skaggs this morning, who is an insurance and Medicare specialist. Misty, Chris, nice to have you both here.
Good morning.
Busy time for your counterpart this time of year, I would imagine. So
absolutely.
We know that Medicare window is open right now. What specifically should our audience be doing?
Opening up your annual notice of change booklet. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see people do, is they think, oh, things have been going great all year, I'm just going to stick with what I'm doing. But these are government contracted plans, and things change from year to year.
That's a good premise. We should probably explain to people what it is exactly that you do with Chris and Securus.
So I'm a Medicare broker. I'm licensed with all the different options that are available to them. So I help them, guide them through what I call the Medicare madness. We work with them with whatever plans that they currently have, show them the changes, and then help them make the best decision for the following year.
This is complicated. I mean, this is a topic that we've tried to tackle on this show before. We feel like we're fairly well educated, and it's still, to put this kind of responsibility on a population that's aging is a real challenge. And Chris, I bet you see a lot of very frustrated people come through your doors.
Let me just tell you, when people come in our doors to talk about this stuff, they are so relieved to find out that we can also help them in this area. They're lost, literally lost. And, they just, every year they have to go back to the, figuring out what they want to do. And they need somebody to be able to help them through that process. And so having Misty on board is just a wonderful thing to be able to give them the ability to come in the same door and get the same service that they get with, the attorneys that work out of our office, the licensed insurance agents,
tax
the
specialists,
stockbrokers,
everybody under one roof.
Yeah.
So Misty, let me put you on the spot then. If you could, because I'm sure there's a million of these, but if you could boil it down to the 3 most common mistakes that Medicare eligible people are making, what would those be?
I would say reviewing that annual notice of change, looking at your prescriptions in the formulary, because the formularies do change from year to year, and that typically is the most expensive cost, as I'm seeing to the people each year. And then also looking up your doctors. The doctors change from plan to plan and things like that. So reviewing your coverage is really the most important thing.
Yeah, because we tend to think of some kind of life change as maybe a reason for changing the plan. I was put on a different medication or whatever the case might be. But the reality is you may be very happy with the plan you're on, but it still might not be the best option out there. There might be a cheaper alternative, something that allows you to keep more of your own money in your own pocket. Right?
Exactly, right.
Yeah. So thank goodness she's with you. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's too much for me to fathom. I'm just glad we have her.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. And quick word on dumping all of my money into the dollar-e-do in Australia. Do you think that's a good move?
I think you should reconsider.
Yeah. He's contractually obligated to say that. Off record, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm all in. No, I'm kidding. Thank you guys both so much. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call them 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252. The Securus website, also a great resource for you. Click on securemoneyplan.com, and we'll link that up to our website, greatdaystlouis.com. Kent, Laura, at the end of the day, if you need help, you got to go out there and find it. You don't be ashamed to ask some of the experts.
My sources are telling me that Oprah is buying up all the dollar-e-doos right now, so
See?
this could be tough.
Strike while
How
the
about a
iron's
dollar
hot.
don't?
A dollar-e-don't. Very good.
That's what
Wow.
Chris says. Dollar
Stepping up my game.
When it comes to your parents, okay, your mom and dad, have you had the talk? I know what you're thinking. No, that's not where we're going. It's good to know how mom and dad have their financial lives, their personal lives in order when the inevitable does happen. Chris Shreves, the president and CEO of Securus Insurance, Financial, and Estate Planning, joins us to explain why this talk is so crucial. Good morning to you.
Well, good morning.
I am so blessed, so fortunate to have a mom who last year actually took the lead on this and brought all of me and my siblings all together to sit down at a table and kind of talk through this. That never happens. I was really lucky.
You are lucky because, a lot of times what happens is a parent will pass away, and then they leave that burden to the one that's surviving. And unfortunately, they really don't want to think about it, but they want to do what their loved one that passed away wanted to happen. And they said, do you think Dad would have wanted this, or do you think he would have wanted that? And I just think that it's important that parents talk to their children, or if they don't want to talk to them, the children need to make that step to try to talk to mom and dad. Because, if mom passes away and she's named beneficiary on a life insurance policy that dad has on himself, well, it's not going to go to mom. It's going to go to probate, And so, you have to think about all the things that could affect the lifestyle of your children and you moving forward. Powers of attorney, for example, who's going to make the decisions if dad gets Alzheimer's, like we just talked about over here. And so, everything that the children need to know needs to come from the parents. Where do they have their will? Do they have a trust? Are there life insurance policies out there? It's amazing what we go through in our office. We offer in our office when people get their estate planning through us that we sit down with them and help the family settle it afterwards. But it's nice for the children just to come in and be able to sit down with us and say, okay, mom and dad came to you and, they said if anything ever happens to us, to contact you. Well, we have a pretty, good list of everything that mom and dad had, pretty much where it's at and what's going on with it. But, this is so important for people to do.
Critically important. And I think it's the overwhelming aspect of it, the fact that people don't even know where to start, that causes them to just either delay, or never get around to it at all. So is there an easy, let's assume that we've jumped the hurdle of agreeing to come together and talk about it. So everybody's around the table. What's an easy starting point? Is it just talking about accounts that exist? Is it talking about wishes upon death, what's a good place to start?
Well, first of all, no children ever want to talk to mom and dad about them leaving us. That's tough, believe me. I've lost my father and I know it's tough. But at the same time, set that aside for a second, because we all are going to pass at some point in time. And so, you're doing yourself a favor, because the nightmare gets considerably worse if you don't do it now. And if you don't decide where your stuff is going to go and who's going to be in charge of it now, somebody will do that for you later, and it may not be the people you want to have do that.
Right. Yeah.
So,
tough conversations to have, but
yeah,
critically important conversations to have. Chris, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call them anytime, 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252. Or check them out on the web. The website is securemoneyplan.com. You ever wonder how global events affect your money? Well, they certainly do. Bart Humphrey is the Vice President of Business Development for Securus Insurance, Financial, and Estate Planning, and he joins us to talk about this. Bart, nice to have you here.
Good morning.
Good news is we're talking about it. Bad news is the guy conducting the interview is wearing an ugly Christmas sweater. Hard to take it that seriously.
I don't know if I make you look good or you make me look good.
Pretty sure it's option B.
Right.
So we've got trouble, frankly, overseas. We've got recessions in Japan, Brazil. There's a lot of uncertainty in China. People hear that oftentimes as blah, 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 trouble overseas, and then we kind of put it on the shelf. We don't think about it. But we should be paying close attention to this, shouldn't we?
We're a global market. We're very connected. The world has become a very small place in our lifetimes. Bloomberg reported on November 20th, a little obscure index that not many people are aware of. It's called the Baltic Index. And what it does is it tracks global shipping across the oceans, so imports and exports, all-time lows. This index has been around since 1985. Now think about what that's saying. That's very telling of where we're at. So as we're looking across the world, the index is showing that shipping has gone down. Trade is moving very slowly. It's cheaper now to ship across the ocean than it's ever been, and yet no one's doing it.
And that's a 30-year index.
That's a 30-year
index. They've been keeping
index.
track of this since the mid-'80s.
Yes.
So what, as investors, and a lot of us are thinking, well, I'm diversified, I'm in my 401k, why should I care about that? What kind of actionable items can we take away from this?
Well, the way I look at it, 401ks were created to replace pensions. The pensions have gone away. At some point, we have to take that 401k and replace our pensions. And that's what we do at Securus. We help people take out the risk. We help them take out the unknown. Your pension should come to you as a paycheck every day, or every week rather, for the rest of your life, every month, however you get it. And it should be there. You should be able to count on it, like the sun rising in the morning. And that's what we help people do.
And a lot of people think that that's not possible unless they're doing what they're constantly told to do and investing in the stock market. But this is an alternative that many people don't think about.
This is an answer. This is being